Hey everyone, I'm Clue. Welcome back to our data pack project, Runechant. So, I'm going to try and keep the update videos maybe one a week, if I can manage that. In all honesty, there's just so much to work on and everything has different time frames, so doing updates or stuff like that, or showing off content itself, is all very variable. But, hey, we've got some stuff to go over. Right, so we'll try again, aim for one a week, and hopefully I can obviously create enough things to show off. We do have like small things that we've been working on stream. So for instance, the Rock Crusher, essentially Amethyst on Crying Obsidian now has the ability to crush different stone style blocks. So like end stone, normal stone, diorite. So we chuck it in there, right? Gets converted and we get, what is that? Looks like an emerald and a gold nugget, or ender pearl and a gold nugget, right? What else? We also have the mob spawner, which is still work in progress. I'd say that's 100% done. This is 50% done. Essentially, you can set up this pseudo beacon, if you will, a mob spawner beacon, also using Crying Obsidian. I've really gone ham-fisted on the Crying Obsidian and its usage. We need some glow item frames as well, and then a mob egg. Just go with husk, nice and easy. Right, so if we stick that on the beacon, stick the mob egg inside, you can see the beacon activates differently though. And every minute or so, depending on how many eggs you actually set up, a husk is going to spawn. Right, so we should see once now. No? Now? I'm really bad with timing. Now? There we go. Perfect. Cool. So you can essentially assign 4 different mob eggs. But in saying that, right, we haven't actually made how to get the mob eggs because I decided to give each mob unique drops, which means I'm doing the art for that. And we just go over and over and around in circles till I, get caught up and move on to the next project without actually finishing anything. But anyway, that aside, what are we showing off? Well, we're halfway-ish through the magic system. Basically, as long as I get the projectiles done and the basis, right, it's super easy to then add different spell effects using the system I've come up with. But if you haven't seen it, we have our attunement station, if you will, right? So for enchanting tables, obsidian in the middle, and then a end crystal. And then we can set it up with all these different hearts of affinity, which will drop off of mobs, which I still have to set up, and circles again. For instance, if we give it this heart of affinity that lingers with nether power, right, it'll get absorbed. And then the end crystal now has this particle effect, indicating that it's attuned to the nether, meaning that we can craft these basic spell tomes that have nether affinity. And we've got 5 different ones currently, and I have actually sort of figured out the casting mechanism, right? So for instance, I believe, yes, cool, I have the scoreboard set up. So you can see if well, you can't actually tell, but I am right clicking and it says is casting. So if I hold down the right click, the is casting is going up and up and up till eventually, oh, which one is this? Nearby target. So there's no one nearby, so that didn't actually work. Time set day, but if we pick one, just, where's the straight line? There we are. Right, so if we hold this down, it gets to 1,000. Shoots out a arm stand, which we can then assign or use as our projectile. So wherever we're looking, right, whenever it gets to 1,000, it shoots out. But what we want to try to get working is entity or hit detection, if you will. So for instance, if we do execute as any entity, if entity, this one will be at e arm stand type equals arm stand. I believe the tag is either affinity spell or spell affinity. Let me look it up. It was affinity spell, right? So any entity, if the affinity spell collides with it, so we need to assign a distance to it. This is where it gets a little bit wonky, right? Because hitboxes are at your feet, despite being showcased everywhere, right? It's really just about fine-tuning the distance until we get it working. Run, say, hit, right? So it should, theoretically, any entity that the thing hits, the armor stands, should say hit. So for instance, this is the cast on yourself, so it should drop or crisscross us with some armor stands. Fortunately, as you can see, we did not proc this hit, right? So again, execute as any entity, if entity armor stand distance ... 1 run say hit. So we have to, play around with it, tinker, and figure out the exact size, right? If we go to 10, hopefully that should be a little bit better. Yeah. But as you can see, it says way too many, right? The armor stands themselves are detecting that they're hitting one another, entities that I'm guessing are below us are detecting. There's just a whole bunch going on there. That was cone 2. We just want yourself. Right, so we just have to figure out the right size. Hopefully it's something like 2, right, to make it nice and easy. Go back to self, right, so crisscross on us. But as you can see, we still get some other procs which are not too good, which I don't quite understand why. I feel like there are some other armor stands lingering about. So we'll just type equals armor stand. It was 5. So again, we do it because these should auto disappear after a short interval. But as you can see, it's still detecting other entities, which is quite interesting. I don't know why they're saying hit, unless it's just making all entities hit if one is pass, which seems weird to me. Was exactly execute as entity, you know what I'm not doing, at S, right? So it's not just detecting their location, it's using the command block, I think, which is messing it up. Right, so we'll try self again. 1000. The arm stands proc it, but more importantly, only we proc it. Okay, so that is better. The arm stands themselves procking is fine. We'll try 1.5, and hopefully that is the fine-tunement. Right, come on. And then we try some target practice with them. Yeah, so the arm stands procking each other, that's fine, as long as we get us, which I can't tell because there is no clue breaking it up. You know what? Easiest thing to do is exclude arm stands from the first one. So type equals Minecraft arm stand. Perfect. Try again. So I think 1.5 is no good. Oh no, it works. The mark is on us, so it's fine. So we actually get hit 4 times at 1.5, which we should theoretically only be hit hopefully twice. I mean, we can go back to 1. I don't think 1 works. We'll try 1.1 maybe. No, we still get hit 1. Okay, so that's good. But the question is, if we swap to this one that says cast spells in a line, right, so this throws the projectile out in front of us, can we set up a husk and actually hit it? Because that's the big if, right? There's no point casting spells if you can't hit things. So for instance, if we cast on you, this is the right spell tome. It is, but I'm out of lapis because it is consuming lapis every cast. And just to make sure, second, perfect. Oh, no. Interesting. That was weird. Curious. So it's not working in some places. Okay, that is a snag in itself. Right, so this is the interaction entity I'm using to detect. So it should be working here because we're clicking on it. I guess the husk has precedence, which means we do have to increase the size of the interaction. It's kind of annoying, to say the least. Oh, we can get there, so that's fine. Very confusing. Nope, it's gone again. Okay. We're outside of melee range, that's fine. See if we can hit you. Oh, that went over your head. That's not good. So I do need to also tweak the motion. Yeah, so it's not detecting him hitting. What if we go down a block? All right, can we get it to hit you? Or will it get stuck in the ground? No, okay. So as you can see there, it's shooting. We can see the hitboxes on both, but because again, entity detection or hit, for whatever reason, entity on entity is only at their feet. So right, this is hitting its head and not working at all, which is very annoying. If we increase it to 2, can we get it to work? Because it does look awful, you know, things just passing through. So it can, but the issue now is, as you can see, it's proccing off of us as well, right? So we cast, we get hit, and then the husk gets hit. So 2 doesn't really work either. I think anything over 1 doesn't really work because the distance I'm summoning the arm stand is 1, right? So if I swap it to, you know, like 1.5, right? Shoot in a straight line, I think we're still going to trigger it. No, only the interaction above us, but we're no longer hitting the husk, which in itself is also bad. Essentially, as long as the arm stand, the center of it, collides with the head of the husk, we want it to trigger, because that's where we're actually showing, or going to show particles. I mean, I can show particles at the feet, I suppose, which makes more sense, but then still you want, anytime the feet hit the head of the husk to work, which isn't going to work either, right? If we aim up here, like that, that should be a hit, but it's not. if we go back to 2, is it a hit? We aim slightly above the head. No, so it's still not triggering off the husk. So again, fine tuning, and this is where it gets a little bit annoying, and more so I might have to spawn things in to actually allow hit detection. The annoying part of this is obviously things like snowballs or projectiles, right? I can throw it, and obviously it works as long as it collides anywhere on the husk, not just the feet. Yeah. Anyway, so I will get tinkering, and hopefully we can get it working, and I'll probably set up the particle effects too, so we can start seeing that in action. Yeah, so this is a huge headache. Tinkered with it a little. Right, so now I've made the arm stand visible, actually shooting the projectile. But as you can see, the arm stand feet is colliding with the fence, and even if we can line it up, right, so on this zombie, oh, I got too close because I haven't fixed the hitboxes, but see, that looks like perfect collision, but it's not hitting. We have to aim lower, so it's feet on feet. Even then, still worrisome because again, the hitboxes don't quite line up. So, I think I have a creative solution. Also, that's interesting. Right, so I still can't hit him. Oh no, this coast I can. That's weird. Why is it overriding the hitbox sometimes? That is very interesting. Yeah, anyway, I think I have a solid idea of what to do to overcome this obstacle, if you will. Yeah, no, here I thought I was being creative. So, if you can see it flash, right, I'm trying to summon a Vex to use as a projectile, because Vexes can obviously fly through walls, but they don't work. For some reason. Maybe I am missing something that the Vexes need to exist, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go too, especially because also the flash, so I'm giving it invisibility, but obviously it summons in, then it triggers or updates with the invisibility and disappears, so there is that glimpse of seeing a Vex, which I don't like, so I guess I'm probably going to go back to arm stands, right? It would be great if you could give markers either a wider hitbox or motion, which I don't think you can, or the new block displays. That'd work too. But altogether, I don't think you can give them motion. I think you can teleport them, but you can't give them motion, and there's no way to make a arm stand essentially pierce. I could swap to arrows or snowballs. Arrows would probably be the go-to. The only issue with the arrow is hiding it, right? Because obviously, this being magic, I don't want it to just be you're shooting out an arrow. Looks like I'll probably just have to end up biting the bullet and use the same system from this older map. The only issue is I don't know how much lag this is going to cause, but essentially what I'm doing to improve the hit detection on the arm stand is I'm summoning a bunch of markers around it, right? Essentially creating a... what's the word? Don't really know how to explain it. I'm putting one on each axis, right? So arm stands in the middle, and then you have markers all around. And then because you're using the distance command, it's doing one, you know, in a circle. So they're like spheres. Essentially, all it's doing is correcting the hitbox of the arm stand to actually be that of the arm stand, right? So it's not just the bottom of the feet or whatever it is in Minecraft for whatever reason. So weird how it works, right? The commands versus actual hit detection inbuilt into the game. But anyway, it's what I will have to end up doing, right? There's no other way for me to get working across all the different casting types unless I remake them all, just because the distances don't line up. So we have to essentially copy over this whole stack, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 6 is the different planes, and then 1 in the center, as well as this one, which deletes the markers. Yeah, so they last for 5 ticks, right? And essentially they just continue to spawn as the arm stand moves over, right? So it's just always executing at the arm stand, run summon the marker, and then we're just using that as the hitbox, which is probably going to be the go-to, which also means I need to fix up the end crystal, right? That was on the arm stand. I need to center it, right? If we're going off of that again. Headache after headache. But hopefully, again, once we get this done, then it will be way easier just to implement all the different spells, right? It's just this core system is the headache. Whew. Well, time to get to work. Right, fingers crossed. It's working out. So I've added particles just so we can see what's going on. So if we use the direct book to shoot in a line, perfect. As you can see, it leaves these little, again, not quite spheres, but if you include the hit detection, they are spheres. Right, so everywhere evenly spaced, and then obviously where it's hit the fence, but still close enough to hit the husk apparently, which is good. Right, that's what we want. Took its time, at least for me. What is it? It'll be like 15 minutes for you, 3 hours for me. With that said, I'm going to leave it here for this one. I'm going to continue working on the spell system, and then hopefully next time around we can actually just go over some spells, have some fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.